Moving on now, we have a crucial speaker session lined up for you. It's on the topic Harnessing the Potential of Account-Based Marketing, or ABM, Big Success Within Small Teams. ABM challenges the traditional lead-based approach to marketing by identifying and targeting best-fit accounts that have the biggest revenue potential for your business. Without further ado, here to chat with us more about this, I invite on stage Dave Makin, founder and creative director at Nexus, to discuss the in-depth potential of account-based marketing. Come on up. Round of applause. I don't know why that's a tongue twister for me.
How's it going, everyone? I know lunch is coming up, so you're all antsy, so I'll try to make this quick. Do we don't? Oh, it's a really good slide deck you're going to. No? Okay. So just tell somebody that click.
Do we have an extra clicker, guys, anywhere? Oh, we found it. Good job, Charlie.
So I just want to say that the last panel talked a lot about the imposter syndrome. Thank you. Thank you. And it's not just for you ladies. I woke up this morning and I put my shoes on and then realized I wasn't wearing pants. And so now I'm up here giving a keynote. So do I have any right to? And the fact, yes, because I'm wearing a t-shirt that says, "Trust me, I'm a keynote speaker." So that way you can know. That was the appropriate applause, thank you. So I'm going to talk to you about account-based marketing. And first, I'll tell you a bit about me so you know why I'm talking about this and the fact that I even have a right to speak to it. I was in sales for a very long time. And I can attest to the fact that sales is really hard, right? I hate it. I don't deal with rejection very well. My feelings get hurt. And so how do we do this better, right? Because nobody likes to be told that they're a salesperson, right? It has that negative connotation. So attracting new clients can be really hard, right? So how do we do it? I don't know if you feel the same way, but about 90% of all the emails I get a day go straight into the trash, right? People find my email, I don't know where, but they're always trying to sell me something. I'm never interested. It's just this email from out of the blue. So I found this stat on Forbes. It's pretty interesting. You're exposed to about 4,000 to 10,000 ads a day, right? And so that's Marketing 2.0 conference, right? That's an ad. Any of the logos you see. And the human brain is really, really good at tuning static out, right? So you just go through life not even realizing you're being exposed to it. I mean, Vegas is a perfect example, right? There's so much stimulus and all these flashing lights, but you can still navigate your way through all of it to get to your hotel room, right? And not even think about it. So in a world like that, how do you stand out? Right? So it's static. Nobody can see the picture. This is a stat that if you've ever been in sales, your sales manager will always bring up over and over again. It's that it's 11 to 13 touches to break through, right? A lot of the times you're not getting through the first one. Which brings me to my next point, which is really important. Dating is hard. It's really hard. Like, I was single for a long time, and it wasn't due from a lack of effort. So there's me, circa 2002. Right? And I was a numbers guy, right? So I saw a group of ladies. I'm like, I'm going to play the numbers, right? Blind squirrel finds a nut occasionally, right? So I was just, hey, See if the spaghetti sticks. That's not a euphemism. Like, it's poorly thought out. And then I saw her. My wife. So she was way out of my league. She's like exceptionally bright. She's well educated. She's a professional. I am who I am. So how do I break through, right? As I say, way too classy for me. So I developed a plan to specifically woo her, right? What's she interested in? What does she like, right? I'm not just gonna go with the old adage of I'm just gonna throw it to the wind and see if I can get a shotgun approach to this. No, I needed to be a sniper. So I trained. That's not me. I haven't worked out in probably about 41 years. So I found without saying it's cooler if I say it was like kind of more of a rom-com kind of scenario as opposed to like I was like looking her up on Facebook and trying to figure out what she liked and shit, because that's weird and creepy. But as you can see, the story is irresistibly wooed. As you can see, that's me doing the wooing. Yada, yada, yada. Beautiful babies. Right? So you're probably sitting to yourself, what the hell does this have anything to do with business? Why are you telling me about how you met your wife? Think of it about this way, right? You got your company. Your company is the time that gets hit on all the time. So you're thinking, hey, I'm really awesome. I got this fantastic story to tell. I'm going to talk to him. They're going to be like, wow, this guy's incredible. Right? Hey. But if you go about that approach, right, you're blending with everyone else that thinks they're super cool and has a great story to tell them. Hey, right? So you make a plan to specifically woo that company with a nice little present. See? Company's in love with you, right? You put that little extra effort in, you stand out from everyone else. This reminds me of another point. Conflict is hard, right? And that comes with sales. Sales is conflict. You want to sell something to somebody who has no desire to speak to you. Like the Trojans. You know, Paris famously kind of liked Helen. So they sent a bunch of people to Sparta and grabbed Helen and made their way back. It's always about a girl, right? So the Spartans didn't like it. They said, hey, Trojans, we want Helen back. As you can see, the Trojans bugger off. So this lasted for 10 years, right? If you read the story, the Spartans lay siege to the city of Troy for 10 years. Didn't get anywhere. Why? Because they had their barriers up, right? They're not going to let them through. They're like, piss off. So the Spartans are like, oh, well, let's make a new plan. Show back up in a big-ass horse. Right? I think we all know the story. They're like, oh, what? They're gone, but now there's this huge horse here. Lovely, bring it in. Boom, conflict resolution. Right? Again, how the hell does this apply to business? Your company's putting up barriers, right? That's what they do. Right? They're all behind it. They don't want salespeople to get through. And I'm sure you all know this, right? So again, how do you break down those barriers? How do you get that initial conversation to start and say, hey, we're not so bad, right? We're not here. And how do you kind of whittle that time frame down from 10 years to maybe, a week or two? You come up with a ploy of getting behind their defenses, bringing that down. So here's some real world examples that we've worked on. We had a fancy hotel chain that was coming to town, town being Des Moines, where my agency operates. So we said, how are we going to get in front of them? So we found out who the decision maker was and took these little chocolates and embossed them with our logo and the company that was coming to town, their logo. And we sent a little note. Working with us is cooler than the other side of the pillow. Right? So, and a client of ours, she calls and says, hey, I want to target podiatrists, right? Podiatrists being the doctors that work on feet. How can she set herself aside from everyone else? Because she's in medical billing, right? Medical billing in itself is about as boring as it sounds, right? So how do we change that, and how do we get something in front of that decision maker that makes them stand out and say, huh, all right, I'm listening. So we sent him a print. We sent him this print, had a little tab, and you could pull it, and the foot would go up and down and say, we're stomping out billing inefficiencies. Podiatrists have a sense of humor. They loved it, right? So, why implement account-based marketing? You stand out in the crowd, right? I mean, obviously this room is an indication, regardless of what you guys are doing, there's about 1 million people that are doing the same thing and saying they're awesome at doing it, right? But if you can get in and break those barriers and just stand out and say, hey, we're doing something totally different, they're gonna take notice. And then it also lowers those defenses when it comes to those sales calls. You're not getting a cold call out of the blue just saying, first thing out of your mouth is, hey, I'm selling this. I'd like you to buy it, right? If you show that you've put that little bit of extra effort in, you've gotten to know them, and then kind of slid it in there as a, hey, wow, this really resonates with me. Now I'm gonna listen. As I say, those tower defenses, they come down. It shows people you care enough to actually put that extra effort in, as opposed to just whipping up a generic, insert first name here, kind of cold email that just goes out to a blanket list on the spreadsheet. And that is me. That's Nexus 6. I started the company 5.5 years ago. I felt there was a real disconnect between current marketing with being digitally focused. It was so tech-based, and there's 1 million people that went and visited your site, but nobody was really talking about, well, how many people actually reached out. So the Nexus 6 model is actually from Blade Runner, because I'm a nerd, and it was kind of this perfect blend of technology and that human element. So we designed the agency to be that perfect blend of technology, but also not forgetting that marketing is bringing people together. And then our tagline is "Don't suck," because we try not. That's kind of our motto in life and in business. So I told you I'd be quick because it was lunch and you're probably all fading out, but I'm definitely open for questions. I think we got some extra time, if anybody has any.
What's up, Dave?
How's it going?
Yeah, great presentation.
Thank you.
Hilarious. I'm sure everybody can agree. Thanks for keeping us entertained before lunch. You had mentioned that you pinpointed the decision maker when sending the chocolates.
Yes.
What strategies would you recommend for finding decision makers? Thanks.
Yeah. LinkedIn is awesome. It takes some digging, and obviously there's some paid options, but LinkedIn's great to kind of drill down to those title-based kind of positions to find out exactly who you're looking for. Or just kind of doing your research on the website, going through, finding out who it is. Also just kind of reaching out to your network as well to say, hey, do you know who in the organization? So, yeah.
Sorry about that. That was a long walk over here.
Absolutely.
So, Dave, have you ever thought of a subscription-based model? What if I had the reverse problem? What if I had all the decision makers in my pocket and I just wanted to stand out amongst my competition? Is there something that I could work out with you? And I guess it's not a question for everybody, but I got the mic. So if there's something that we could work out where you could do that for our brand and communicate, because I love your style. It's absolutely funny, it's exciting, it's exactly what we're looking for.
Awesome.
Would you be interested in something like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, our whole focus is helping people tell their story, right? So as opposed to regurgitating what you do is to find that compelling narrative, and that's what we do for sure. I'd love to talk. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you.
So, love the presentation. Thank you. I hate PowerPoints, but I really enjoyed yours.
PowerPoints.
So, the question that I've got is, when you say you help people tell their story, is the example of stomping out billing problems and the working with us is better than the other side of the pillow? Are those examples of telling their story, or is there, I can see those as great engagement devices. Do those engagement devices result in inbound calls, or how do you follow up on that? And how much more is there, and what is there more to telling the story in the unique way that you obviously create?
For sure, thank you. So I'm a strong believer in the fact that, well, I said facts, but people don't care about facts, right? I could have sat up here and gave you a bunch of stats and all this kind of jazz. Nobody would have cared, nobody would have remembered. So when we talk about storytelling, that's the first point. So that's kind of say, introduce a story, get them interested, because it's going to be something that they remember. But for a lot of the pieces that we do, it'll direct to a landing page specific for that campaign. So now that we've got through and we've got their attention to say, oh, they're interested enough to then take that next step, which is now a landing page, which is kind of the second chapter in the story, to tell them more about us, more about what we do, or, in the case of the billing efficiency, as one, they scan a QR code or go to the site, and now they're learning all of that kind of middle of the funnel content of why we're kind of thought leaders, why we're specialties, what we do, and all that kind of content there. Because again, right off the bat, we don't want to overload people, right? Obviously everybody already knows this, but when your content, it's paragraphs, sentences better, but like bullet forms. People zone you out really quick. So you tell them a compelling story, whether it's graphical, just something like, oh, okay, caught my attention. Now, if they're interested enough to take the next one, bam, then you start kind of labeling all of that meatier kind of information through to kind of that contact form that's linked to, for more information or downloading in, this digital ebook. Fill this form out, boom, now you've got the contact information, and then, that's another kind of buying signal that, okay, they're interested enough to not only have gone to the landing page, but now they're actually filled out the form, you have their contact details, and now you can start, you know that it got them interested enough at that point.
Do you create all of that unique content, or is it just the content that anybody can see if they went to that site?
No, it's always unique, that page. So every campaign has its own unique, where it's not linked to the main nav on the site. It's separate to that, so it speaks to every piece of that campaign is kind of layered on top of each other and all linked together. So exactly, I sent this to them, they came to the site, they filled out the form, downloaded the ebook for more information, but that's all within this silo of that campaign.
If you had 10 prospects like that, you'd have 10 different non-listed silos with all of that.
Absolutely, yeah. So you can do kind of industry-specific landing pages and then send everybody in that industry to that one specific one. Or you can just target one large actual named client and have everything very customized for them. So it's a very customized experience. Awesome. Anyone else? Everybody's looking to go to lunch. I can't blame you. Cool. Well, we've got extra time, so I don't have a number for you to text and get a prize, but I have stickers. One of our big things is that we offer our no bullshit GOAT guarantee. It's our way of saying to our clients that we're never going to sell you something just because that's the flavor of the month and that's what we want to really push. Everything that we do has to have some kind of ROI based around it. And if we can't put together a plan that we truly believe is actually going to have a return, connect people with people, we're not going to suggest it, right? And we say no bullshit. Cool. Well, that's me. Again, any questions? I'm more than happy to help, but awesome. Thank you, everyone.